America is disappearing right now as you're watching this. And it's happening so fast that most people don't even know it's real. Louisiana loses a football field of land every single hour. Alaska's ground is literally melting beneath people's feet. These aren't predictions about the distant future. This is happening right now, today, while you're sitting here. Here are the American states that will disappear soon, so watch till the end. Louisiana is dissolving into the ocean, fast. Since the 1930s, Louisiana has lost nearly 2,000 square miles of land. That's the entire size of Delaware. Gone. But here's the shocking part. Louisiana loses a football field of land every single hour. Every 60 minutes, another football field vanishes into the Gulf of Mexico. The Mississippi River used to build Louisiana's coast. For thousands of years, the river carried mud and sediment downstream. It deposited this sediment along the coast, creating new land. But then humans built massive levees to control flooding. These levees forced the river into a narrow channel. Now the sediment shoots straight into the deep Gulf instead of spreading across the delta. The land stopped growing. Without new sediment, the existing land started sinking. Combined with rising sea levels, the coast retreats faster every year. Some areas lose 30 feet of coastline annually. Entire islands have completely disappeared. Communities are relocating inland because their towns are literally underwater. Compare satellite photos from 1932 to today. Bays have expanded. Land that was solid ground is now part of the ocean. This isn't a future prediction, it's happening right now. But Louisiana isn't the only state losing ground to water. Just east along the Gulf Coast, another state faces an even stranger threat. Florida has a different problem. The entire state is built on porous limestone. Limestone is like Swiss cheese underground. It's full of holes. Water flows through it easily. Seawater doesn't just approach from the coast, it rises up from below. Miami's average elevation is only 6 feet above sea level. That's the height of a tall person. Sea levels in southeast Florida have already risen 8 inches since 1950. But here's what's terrifying. Sea levels around Florida are now rising 1 inch every 3 years. The pace is accelerating. Scientists predict another 6 inches of rise in just 15 years. Miami floods during regular high tides now, not from storms, not from hurricanes, from normal ocean tides. Water pushes up through storm drains. Streets fill with seawater even on sunny days. This is called sunny day flooding. Since 2006, sunny day flooding in Miami Beach has increased by over 400%. 4 times as much flooding, just from tides. The porous limestone makes it impossible to stop. You can't build a seawall high enough. The water just comes up from underneath. By 2060, parts of Miami could be underwater during every high tide. Entire neighborhoods could become uninhabitable, not from a hurricane, just from the ocean slowly reclaiming the land. While Florida drowns from below, thousands of miles north, an entirely different kind of disappearance is happening, one where the ground itself is melting. Alaska is massive, but large parts are becoming unstable. The problem is permafrost. Permafrost is ground frozen for thousands of years. It acts like a foundation. It holds soil in place. It supports roads, buildings, pipelines, and towns. But the permafrost is thawing. As temperatures rise, frozen ground warms. When it melts, ground loses structure. Soil collapses, roads buckle, buildings tilt. In some places, solid land turns to mud. This process isn't uniform. A road might look fine, then suddenly sink. Coastal villages face worse threats. Frozen ground used to anchor the shore, but as permafrost thaws, erosion accelerates. Waves hit the coast with more force. Entire sections of coastline collapse into the ocean. Some villages have already been forced to relocate. Moving an entire community in Alaska is incredibly expensive. Villages are far apart. Infrastructure is limited. But in some cases, moving is the only option. On the map, Alaska looks unchanged. On the ground, parts are quietly falling apart. From the frozen north to the sunny west coast, the problems multiply. But California isn't dealing with one threat, it's dealing with all of them at once. California faces multiple threats. The Central Valley is sinking. This agricultural region stretches from Redding to Bakersfield, one of the most productive farming areas in the world, but it's been sinking for decades. The cause is groundwater pumping. Farmers pump water from underground to water crops. When you remove water, ground compresses. In some places, land has dropped several meters. Roads crack, flood risk increases. This is subsidence, and it's permanent. Meanwhile, the coastline is eroding. Cliffs in Big Sur, Pacifica, and Southern California are collapsing into the Pacific. Waves undercut the shoreline. Beaches narrow. Bluffs retreat inland. Homes built decades ago now sit dangerously close to the edge. Wildfires make everything worse. Northern California forests and Southern California chaparral burn repeatedly. Fire strips hillsides of vegetation. Without roots to hold soil, erosion accelerates. When winter rains come, mudslides remove entire layers of land in minutes. What took centuries to build disappears in one storm. California also depends on Sierra Nevada snowpack for water. Snowpack acts as a natural reservoir. It stores water in winter and releases it slowly in spring and summer. But snowfall patterns are changing. When rain falls instead of snow, water rushes downhill immediately. Less water gets stored for dry months. The state faces all these problems simultaneously: coastal erosion, sinking valleys, shifting water supplies, fire-driven landscape loss, all happening at the same time. But not all disappearance is dramatic. Sometimes the quietest losses are the most dangerous. Turn away from the coasts and head to America's heartland, where the problem isn't water or fire, it's what's underneath. The Midwest looks stable. Iowa, Illinois, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri. Wide open farmlands stretching to the horizon. But the foundation is disappearing. Topsoil. The Midwest sits on some of the most fertile soil on Earth. This soil formed thousands of years ago from glaciers and ancient rivers. Thick layers made the region perfect for farming, but that soil is washing away. During heavy rains, water moves across fields quickly. It carries soil with it. Streams and ditches collect the runoff and transport it downstream. Over time, fields lose depth. What took thousands of years to create disappears in decades. Wind also plays a role, especially in Kansas and Nebraska. During dry conditions, exposed soil lifts and travels. The land doesn't vanish overnight, but it thins out year after year. Rivers like the Missouri and Mississippi collect this lost soil downstream. The geography is being constantly redistributed. Individual fields don't just disappear, but the long-term balance is shifting. In some areas, soil loss exceeds natural replacement many times over. As ground thins, farming becomes harder to sustain. Land that once supported diverse crops becomes fragile. Fields that look identical on maps don't perform the same on the ground. This is slow disappearance, but it's still disappearance. From Louisiana's vanishing coast to the Midwest's thinning soil, one truth becomes clear. These states aren't vanishing all at once. They're changing slowly, quietly. On maps, borders stay the same. On the ground, everything shifts. Disappearance doesn't mean vanishing completely. Sometimes it means becoming harder to live on. Louisiana loses land every hour. Florida floods on sunny days. Alaska's foundation is melting. California sinks while it burns. The Midwest loses its soil. These aren't future threats. They're happening now. Most people have no idea. Maps look the same, but land beneath them is disappearing. Some changes take decades. Others happen in hours. All of them are permanent. America is losing parts of itself, not to war, not to invasion, to nature reclaiming what was temporary. The question isn't if these states will disappear. The question is how much will be left, and how long before everyone notices. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe. This is Glore.